I raised my daughter for 16 years, man. 16 years. I thought she was mine blood. DNA. Everything. Turns out, I was wrong. Her real dad showed up at our door one night, and brother, she chose him. Just like that. Why? Because he had money. And I didn't. What happened next destroyed me in ways I didn't even know were possible. Look, I'm 38 years old, and today I'm going to tell you how I lost the most important person in my life. Not to death, not to distance, but to a guy with a bigger bank account. And the woman I trusted for nearly 2 decades, she helped make it happen. She knew the whole time I wasn't Mia's biological father, and she never said a word. Let me take you back to where this all started. I met Jessica when I was 21. She was 20, working at a coffee shop near my construction site. Man, she was beautiful, confident, had this smile that just, I don't know, made you feel like you were the only person in the room. We started dating, got serious fast. 6 months later, she told me she was pregnant. I'm not gonna lie, I was terrified. 22 years old, barely making enough to cover rent, and now I'm about to be a dad. But the thing is, I stepped up. I proposed. We got married at the courthouse, nothing fancy. And when Mia was born, brother, that moment changed everything for me. Held her in the hospital, this tiny little thing, and I remember thinking, I'd die for this kid. Whatever it takes, I'm gonna be the best dad I can be. And I was, every single day. I worked overtime at the job site so we could afford the nicer apartment. I changed diapers at 3 a.m. I learned how to braid hair from YouTube videos when Mia was 6 because she wanted French braids like the girls at school. I coached her soccer team, even though I didn't know a damn thing about soccer. I showed up, Jessica and I. We weren't perfect. Nobody is. We fought about money sometimes. She wanted me to go back to school, get a better job. I kept saying I would, but construction paid the bills and I was good at it. We'd argue, we'd make up. Normal marriage stuff, you know? And Nia was the center of everything. Straight A student, played varsity volleyball, had this friend group she'd known since elementary school. At 16, she was this confident, smart young woman, and I was so damn proud. So let me paint you the picture of the night everything fell apart. It was a Tuesday. Nothing special. I'd just gotten home from work, still in my dusty jeans and work boots. Mia was upstairs doing homework. Jessica was making dinner chicken stir-fry. I remember that detail for some reason. I grabbed a beer from the fridge, sat down at the kitchen table, scrolling through my phone. Then, the doorbell rang. Jessica called out that she'd get it. I didn't think anything of it. Probably a package or a neighbor or something. But then I heard her voice change. Like this sharp intake of breath. The way you sound when you see something that shocks you. I got up, walked toward the front door, and there he was. This guy. Tall, maybe 6'2", wearing one of those expensive-looking polo shirts, nice watch, clean haircut. Standing on my doorstep like he belonged there. And behind him, parked at the curb, a black Mercedes, gleaming under the streetlights. I looked at Jessica. Her face had gone completely white, like she'd seen a ghost. The guy smiled, not at me, at her. And he said her name Jessica with this familiarity that made my stomach drop. Then he looked past her, into the house, and his eyes landed on the family photo we had hanging in the hallway. The one from Mia's 15th birthday. He pointed at it and made some comment about how Mia looked just like his mom, which made absolutely zero sense to me in that moment. I asked who the hell he was. The guy turned to me, extended his hand like we were meeting at some business lunch, introduced himself as Derek, said my name like he already knew me. Then he said he was there to see Mia. I didn't shake his hand. I just stared at Jessica. She was gripping the doorframe like she might collapse if she let go. Her mouth kept opening and closing, but nothing came out. Derek must have sensed the tension because he stepped back, Tried to explain that this was unexpected, that he and Jessica had been in touch for a few weeks now. Asked if she hadn't told me. That's when the ringing started in my ears. This high-pitched buzz that drowned out everything else. Jessica, in touch, for weeks, with this stranger who just showed up asking for my daughter. I heard Mia's voice from the stairs, asking who was at the door. And I swear to God, the look on Derek's face when he heard her voice. It was like someone had just handed him a winning lottery ticket. He tried to look past me, into the house, and I instinctively moved to block his view. Jessica finally found her voice. Told me we needed to talk in the kitchen. Right now. There was panic in her tone, like she was trying to contain something that was about to explode. I looked at Derek, looked at Jessica, looked at that damn Mercedes. And somewhere deep in my gut, I already knew. I didn't know the details yet, but I knew. Something about this man, this moment, was about to blow up my entire life. Jessica grabbed my arm, pulled me toward the kitchen. I let her because what else was I supposed to do? Mia was coming down the stairs now, curious, asking what was going on. Jessica told her to go back upstairs, and there was something in her tone that made Mia stop asking questions and just obey. That never happened. Mia always pushed back. But not this time. We got to the kitchen. Jessica closed the door behind us. She was shaking. Actually shaking. I'd never seen her like that before, not when Mia broke her arm in 4th grade. Not when we almost lost the house during the recession. Never. I waited. Didn't say a word. Just stared at her, waiting for her to explain why the hell there was a strange man at our door asking about our daughter. She took a deep breath, tried to compose herself. And then she said something about needing to talk about Mia, about her past, about things I didn't know. The way she said it, man, it was like watching someone prepare to detonate a bomb. And that's when I knew. Everything I thought I knew about my family, my marriage, my life, all of it was about to be ripped apart, right there, in the kitchen, with the smell of burnt stir-fry in the air and a stranger standing at my front door. I just didn't know how bad it was about to get. Jessica started talking, and man, I wish I could say I don't remember what she said, but I remember every damn word. Not because she was clear about it. She wasn't. She was rambling, crying, trying to explain 16 years of lies in 10 minutes. The basics? Mia wasn't mine. Biologically, I mean, Derek, the guy at the door, he was her real father. I just stood there, didn't move, didn't speak, just processed, or tried to. You know that feeling when someone tells you something so insane that your brain just refuses to accept it? Like when you hear about a celebrity dying and you think it's fake news? That's what this was. Except it wasn't fake. Jessica kept talking. Said she'd had a thing with Derek 17 years ago. Brief thing, she called it. They'd been dating, broke up, then she met me like a month later. We started seeing each other, got serious fast. And then she found out she was pregnant. Here's the part that killed me, man. There was a chance Mia wasn't mine. She knew, from day one. But Derek had vanished, moved to California for some startup job. Cut off all contact. And I was there, stable, ready to step up. So she just let me believe Mia was mine. I asked her why she never told me. Why she let me spend 16 years raising a kid that wasn't biologically mine, paying for everything, building my entire life around being Mia's dad. You know what she said? She said Derek wasn't ready back then. He was broke, immature, unreliable. And I was a good man, a good father. Mia needed stability. Stability. Like I was some kind of placeholder. A backup plan. I felt my chest tighten. That kind of anger where you can't even yell because if you open your mouth, you might lose control completely. So I just stood there, fists clenched, jaw locked, staring at the woman I'd been married to for 16 years. Then came the second bomb. Derek didn't just randomly show up. He'd been looking for Jessica, hired a private investigator, tracked her down, reached out a few months ago. And here's the kicker. He wanted to be in Mia's life now, because he'd gotten rich. Some tech company he invested in blew up, and now he was loaded. And suddenly, he was ready to be a dad. Jessica had been talking to him for weeks, planning this. They'd done a DNA test, without telling me, obviously, and it confirmed it. Derek was Mia's biological father, and now he wanted to meet her, bond with her, be part of her life. I asked Jessica why now. Why, after all this time, was she letting this happen? And the way she looked at me when she answered, man, I'll never forget it. She said Derek could give Mia opportunities. Better schools, college fully paid for, connections, a future I couldn't provide. That's when it hit me. This wasn't about Mia's right to know her biological father. This was about money. Derek was rich now, and Jessica saw an upgrade. For Mia, and probably for herself, knowing her. I asked if she'd told Mia yet. She said no. She wanted to talk to me first, which was real considerate, considering she'd been planning this behind my back for months. She said Derek wanted to meet Mia properly, take her to dinner, explain everything. And Jessica thought it was a good idea, thought Mia deserved to know the truth. The truth. 16 years of my life, and suddenly the truth mattered. I told her no. Flat out. Said Derek could take his money and his Mercedes and get the hell away from my family. Mia was my daughter. I raised her. I was there for every fever, every school play, every volleyball game. Biology didn't mean shit compared to that. Jessica got defensive. Started saying I was being selfish, that this wasn't about me, that Mia had a right to know her real father. That word, real, it felt like a knife. Like everything I'd done for 16 years didn't count because I didn't contribute the DNA. We went back and forth. I don't even remember half of what was said. I was too angry, too hurt, too. I don't even know. Betrayed doesn't cover it. It was deeper than that. Like someone had reached into my chest and ripped out the one thing I thought was solid in my life. Eventually, Jessica said she was going to tell Mia. With or without my blessing. She said Mia was old enough to decide for herself whether she wanted a relationship with Derek. And if I tried to stop it, I'd be the bad guy. I'd be the one keeping a daughter from her real father. I told her if she did this, I was done. Done with her. Done with the marriage. All of it. She looked at me like she expected that. Like she'd already accepted it as the price of letting Derek back in. Then she said something that made my blood run cold. She said maybe it was better this way. Derek could give Mia things I never could. And maybe Mia deserved that chance. Better this way. Like I was the problem. Like being a blue-collar dad who worked his ass off to provide wasn't good enough anymore. I walked out of the kitchen. Derek was still standing in the entryway, trying to look sympathetic. I told him to leave. He started saying something about how he understood this was hard, how he didn't want to disrupt my life, how he just wanted to know his daughter. His daughter, not mine. I didn't hit him. I wanted to. God, I wanted to. But I didn't. I just told him to get the hell out of my house before I did something we'd both regret. He left, but the damage was done. The truth was out there now, floating in the air like smoke. And I knew that Jessica was going to tell Mia. And once Mia found out, everything would change. I went upstairs. Mia's door was closed. I stood outside it for a minute, just listening. She had music playing, some pop song I didn't recognize. She had no idea her entire life was about to flip upside down. I didn't knock, didn't go in. What was I supposed to say? How do you tell your daughter that you're not really her dad? That some rich guy she's never met is her biological father? That her mom lied to both of you for 16 years? I went to my room, sat on the edge of the bed. And for the first time in a long time, I felt completely powerless. The next day, Jessica told Mia everything. I wasn't there. She did it while I was at work. Came home to find them both in the living room, Mia's eyes red from crying. Jessica looking exhausted. Mia looked at me. And man, the way she looked at me, it wasn't anger. It wasn't confusion. It was something worse. It was like she was seeing me for the first time and realizing I wasn't who she thought I was. That's when I knew. I'd already lost her. Derek hadn't even stepped back into her life yet, and I'd already lost her. The first time Derek showed up to take Mia to dinner, I wasn't home. Probably for the best, because I don't know what I would have done seeing him pull up in that Mercedes, watching my daughter get in like it was the most natural thing in the world. Jessica told me about it later. Said Derek took Mia to some expensive steakhouse downtown. The kind of place I'd only been to once for our 10th anniversary, and even then I felt out of place. They talked for hours, apparently. He told her about his life, his business, how he'd always wondered about her, how he regretted not being there. All the right things to say to a 16-year-old girl who just found out her whole life was a lie. And here's the thing, I couldn't even be mad at Mia for being curious. She just found out the man she thought was her dad wasn't, and the real one was rich and successful and wanted to know her. Of course she was going to give him a chance. I get that. I do. But man, watching it happen? That was torture. Derek started showing up regularly. Every weekend. Sometimes during the week. He'd text Jessica, not me, never me, and ask if he could take Mia somewhere. The movies, shopping, some museum exhibit she'd mentioned wanting to see. And Jessica would say yes, every single time. The presents started almost immediately. First it was small stuff, a new volleyball bag, some sneakers she'd been wanting. Then it got bigger. A brand new iPhone, the latest model. AirPods, a MacBook for school because her old laptop was slow. Designer clothes. Stuff I could never afford on a construction salary. And Mia? She loved it. I could see it in her face when she came home with another bag, another box. The excitement. The way she'd show Jessica first, barely glancing at me when I asked what Derek got her this time. The worst part was watching her change. Not all at once, it was gradual. Like watching someone drift away in slow motion and not being able to do anything about it. She stopped calling me Dad, started using Steve instead. At first I thought maybe I'd misheard. But no, it was deliberate. She'd be talking to her friends, telling them about her weekend, and she'd say something like, "Steve took me to my volleyball game," or "Steve said I have to be home by 10, like I was just some guy she lived with. I tried talking to her about it, asked why she wasn't calling me Dad anymore. She just shrugged, said it felt weird now that she knew the truth. Said Derek was her dad, and it didn't make sense to call both of us that. So I was Steve now. Just Steve. Her Instagram changed too. Started posting pictures with Derek. Dinner at fancy restaurants. His house, this massive place in the suburbs with a pool and a home theater. Captions like, "Quality time with my dad" with a heart emoji. Meanwhile, pictures of us, me and her at her volleyball games, us at the beach last summer, those started disappearing. Not all at once, just slowly erased. I stopped looking at her social media after a while. It hurt too much. About 2 months in, Derek started talking about Mia's future. College, specifically. Told her he'd pay for wherever she wanted to go. Stanford, Harvard, didn't matter. He'd cover tuition, room and board, everything. And if she wanted to study abroad, he'd handle that too. I had a college fund for Mia, been contributing to it since she was born. It wasn't much, maybe 15 grand total after 16 years of putting in whatever I could spare. I knew it wouldn't cover a full 4 years anywhere decent, but I figured combined with financial aid and maybe some scholarships, we'd make it work. Derek's offer made my savings look like pocket change. Mia started spending more time at Derek's house, sleeping over on weekends. He had a guest room he'd set up just for her, redecorated it. Let her pick out furniture, the whole thing. Jessica thought it was great. Said Mia needed to bond with her biological father, build that relationship. I felt like a ghost in my own house. Mia would come home, grab some clothes, barely say 2 words to me, and head back to Derek's. I'd ask about school, about volleyball, about anything, and I'd get 1-word answers. Fine. Good. Whatever. Then came the conversation that destroyed me. It was a Sunday night. Mia had been at Derek's all weekend and came home to grab more stuff. I was in the living room watching the game, and she came downstairs with a backpack and this look on her face. Like she was working up the courage to say something. She sat down, didn't look at me, started talking about how much she'd been thinking lately, about her future, about what she wanted. And then she said she wanted to live with Derek full time. I just stared at her, asked her to repeat that. She did. Saw Derek had this great school district, better than ours. Said his house was closer to her club volleyball practices. Said she'd have her own room, her own space, better opportunities. She made it sound so logical, so practical. I asked her if this was about the money, about the big house and the new phone and the college fund. She got defensive, said it wasn't about that. But then she said something that made it crystal clear what this was really about. She said Derek could give her a real future, the kind of future she deserved. Opportunities I couldn't provide. A real future. Like the one I'd been trying to build for her for 16 years wasn't real. Wasn't good enough. I asked her if she even remembered who was there when she learned to ride a bike, who coached her soccer team when she was 8, who sat with her in the A when she broke her wrist in 6th grade, who drove her to every single volleyball practice for 3 years straight. She said she knew all that. Said she appreciated it. But Derek was her biological father, and she wanted to live with him. She said I'd understand if I really cared about what was best for her. What was best for her. Like I hadn't spent 16 years putting her first in every decision I made. Jessica came into the room then. She'd been listening from the kitchen. And you know what she said? She said maybe this was good for Mia. That Derek could provide things we couldn't. That Mia was almost 17 and should be able to choose where she lived. I looked at Jessica, then at Mia, and I realized they'd already decided. This wasn't a conversation. It was a notification. Mia was leaving, and I had 0 say in it. I asked if I'd get to see her, if she'd visit. Mia said sure, of course, whenever I wanted. But the way she said it was like she was humoring me. Like she was already planning to be too busy with her new life to make time for her old one. I called a lawyer the next day, asked what rights I had. The answer? None. I'd never legally adopted Mia. She wasn't biologically mine. And she was 16 old enough, the courts would consider her preference anyway. Derek was her biological father. If he wanted custody and Mia agreed, there was nothing I could do. The lawyer suggested I could fight it. Spend thousands on legal fees for a case I'd probably lose. Or I could let it go and hope Mia would still want a relationship with me. I didn't have thousands to spend on a legal battle. And honestly, I was tired. Tired of fighting. Tired of watching my daughter choose a stranger over me because he had money. 2 weeks later, Mia moved out. Derek showed up with his Mercedes on a Saturday morning. Mia loaded her stuff into his car clothes, her laptop, posters from her room, trophies from volleyball. I watched from the living room window. She didn't say goodbye, didn't hug me, just left a post-it note stuck to the fridge. 3 words. Thanks for everything. That was it. 16 years of being her dad, reduced to a note you'd leave for a roommate who helped you move furniture. I stood in her empty room that night, The walls still had marks where her posters had been. Her desk was gone. Closet empty. It looked like a guest room, like she'd never even lived there. And the worst part? I couldn't even be angry at her. She was 16. She didn't fully understand what she was doing. She saw the money, the opportunities, the shiny new life Derek was offering, and of course she took it. But Jessica? I was done with Jessica. She'd orchestrated all of this. Let Derek back in. Encouraged Mia to leave. All because she saw an upgrade and decided to cash in. I filed for divorce the following Monday. Didn't even discuss it with her first. Just had the papers drawn up and served. She didn't fight it. If anything, she seemed relieved. The first month after Mia moved out was the hardest. I kept expecting her to come home. Stupid, I know. But I'd hear a car door slam outside and think maybe she forgot something. Maybe she wanted to grab dinner. Maybe she just missed being home. It was never her. I tried texting. Kept it casual at first. Asked how school was going, how volleyball practice was. Sent her a picture of this sunset from the job site that she would have loved. Most of the time, no response. Sometimes she'd send back a thumbs up emoji or a quick good. And that was it. I tried calling a few times. It would ring and then go to voicemail. I'd leave a message, nothing heavy, just saying hi, checking in, and she never called back. After a while, I stopped leaving messages. What was the point? Her Instagram killed me. I know I shouldn't have kept checking it, but I did. Couldn't help myself. She was posting constantly. Pictures of Derek's house. His pool. Dinner at restaurants I couldn't even pronounce the names of. Photos from some weekend trip to Colorado they took skiing, fancy lodge, the whole thing. And the captions, man. They were always something about her dad this, her dad that. She posted this one picture of them at some father-daughter charity event, both dressed up. Derek in a suit, Mia in a dress that probably cost more than my truck payment. Caption said something about being grateful for second chances and new beginnings. Second chances. Like the first 16 years with me were just a rough draft. I commented on one of her posts once. Just said the picture was nice, asked how she was doing. She deleted the comment within an hour. Didn't respond. Didn't acknowledge it. Just erased it like it never happened. Then I noticed I couldn't see her stories anymore. Checked her profile and realized she blocked me. Not unfriended. Blocked. Like I was some creep she needed to protect herself from. I asked Jessica about it. She said Mia needed space to process everything. Sighed I needed to respect her boundaries. Her boundaries. I was her dad for 16 years, and now I needed permission to see pictures of her life. The only way I knew what was going on with Mia was through Jessica's Facebook. She wasn't blocked there yet, so I'd check her posts. She'd share stuff about Mia honor roll, volleyball tournament results, college visits. Always tagged Derek. Never me. Work became my escape. I started taking every overtime shift available. Weekends, evenings. Didn't matter. My boss actually asked if I was okay because I was there so much. Told him I was saving up for something. Didn't tell him I just needed to not be in that empty house, thinking about my daughter who didn't want me anymore. I'd get home around 8 or 9 most nights, too tired to think. That was the goal. Eat something, usually take out because I couldn't be bothered to cook. Drink a few beers. Maybe scroll through channels until I passed out on the couch. The gym became the other outlet. Started going at 5 in the morning before work. Then again after work when I couldn't pick up overtime. Lifting until my arms shook. Running on the treadmill until I couldn't breathe. Anything to exhaust myself enough that I could sleep without thinking about Mia's empty room down the hall. My buddy Marcus noticed. Tried to get me to talk about it one night when we grabbed beers after work. Asked what was going on, said I seemed off. I just told him it was divorce stuff, that Jessica and I were splitting up. He nodded, said he got it. Offered to set me up with his wife's friend who was recently single. I declined. Last thing I needed was to try to date someone while my life was falling apart. Marcus didn't push, just said if I needed anything, let him know. That was it. And honestly, that's all I wanted. I didn't need to talk about my feelings or process my emotions or whatever. I just needed to keep moving, keep working, keep going until it hurt less. The insomnia started around month 2. I'd be exhausted from work and the gym, but I'd lay in bed staring at the ceiling, thinking about every moment with Mia, wondering what I did wrong. If I'd made more money, had a better job, could have given her more, would she have stayed? Some nights I'd get up, drive around, no destination, just driving. I'd end up in random parking lots at 2 in the morning, sitting there, wondering how the hell I got to this point in my life. I tried to see Mia a few times. Asked Jessica to set something up. She'd say she'd ask Mia, then come back with excuses. Mia was busy with school, had volleyball practice, was spending the weekend at Derek's. Always something. Finally, I just showed up. It was stupid. I knew it was stupid even as I was doing it. But I couldn't take it anymore. Mia went to this private school, now Derek's district. Fancy place with a big campus, security gates, the whole thing. I drove over there one afternoon, parked across the street, waited for school to let out. I saw her come out with a group of friends. New friends I didn't recognize. She was laughing at something, phone in her hand, designer backpack over her shoulder. She looked happy, looked like she belonged there. I got out of my truck, started walking toward her. She saw me and her whole face changed. The smile disappeared. She looked uncomfortable, maybe embarrassed. I called her name. Tried to keep my voice casual, like this was totally normal. She stopped, said something to her friends who kept walking. Then she came over to me, but she stayed on the sidewalk. Didn't come close. I asked how she was. She said fine. I asked about school, about volleyball. She gave short answers. Good. Fine. Busy. I tried to suggest getting coffee or something, just to catch up. She said she couldn't, that Derek was picking her up in a few minutes. As if on cue, the Mercedes pulled up to the curb. Derek got out, saw me. The look on his face, it wasn't angry. It was almost pitying, like he felt bad for me. That made it worse somehow. He said something to Mia about being ready to go. She nodded, started walking toward the car. I asked when I'd see her again. She said she'd text me. We'd figure something out. She didn't text me. Derek stood there for a second, like he was trying to decide whether to say something. Then he mentioned something about how this was hard for everyone, how Mia needed time. Suggested maybe I should give her space. A security guard from the school came over then. Asked if everything was okay. Derek said it was fine. The guard looked at me, asked if I was a parent at the school. I wasn't. He asked me to leave the property. I left. Sat in my truck watching them drive away. Felt like the world's biggest loser. That night I drank more than I should have. Not blackout drunk, just enough to not feel anything. Fell asleep on the couch watching SportsCenter. Woke up with a headache and the realization that showing up at Mia's school was probably the most pathetic thing I'd done yet. About a month later, I got a letter. Official-looking envelope. Opened it to find a court document. Mia had legally changed her last name. Dropped mine, took Derek's. Mia Richardson was now Mia Barrett. Derek's last name. Like the 16 years as a Richardson never happened. I sat there staring at that paper for a long time. That was it. That was the final nail. She'd erased me. Officially. Legally. Permanently. Jessica texted me that same day. Said she knew about the name change, that Mia had told her. Then she said I needed to move on. That this wasn't healthy. That I was making it harder on everyone by not accepting that things had changed. Move on. Like Mia was a job I'd lost or a house I'd sold. Like 16 years of being her father was something I could just get over. I didn't respond to Jessica. What was there to say? That night I sat in Mia's old room. Still empty. Still had those marks on the wall where her posters used to be. I kept meaning to repaint it, turn it into something else. But I couldn't bring myself to do it. Like admitting she was really gone. I thought about all the things I'd taught her. How to ride a bike. How to change a tire. How to stand up for herself when kids at school were being jerks. All those bedtime stories when she was little. All those volleyball games I never missed. Did any of that matter? Did she remember any of it? Or was it all just gone? Replaced by Derek's money and promises? I didn't cry. Men don't really do that, you know? Or at least I don't. I'd broken down maybe twice through this whole thing, once when Jessica first told me the truth, once the night Mia moved out. But that was it. Mostly I just felt empty, hollowed out. I was losing weight. Not on purpose, I just forgot to eat sometimes. Between work in the gym and the insomnia, food wasn't a priority. One of the guys on my crew made a comment about it, asked if I was sick. I said I was fine, just stressed with the divorce. Everyone bought that explanation. Divorce is stressful. Normal reason to look like hell. Nobody needed to know it was more than that. I started thinking about leaving. Selling the house, moving to a different city, starting over somewhere nobody knew me. Somewhere I wouldn't drive past Mia's school, or see the soccer fields where I used to coach her team, or past the ice cream shop where we go after her games. Maybe if I left, I could forget. Not forget her. I'd never forget her. But forget the feeling of being replaced. Of being not good enough. Of losing the most important person in my life to a man who showed up with a checkbook. But I didn't leave. Where would I even go? What would be the point? Running away wouldn't change anything. So I stayed, and I worked, and I went to the gym, and I didn't sleep, and I waited for Mia to reach out. She never did. I stopped trying after that. Not because I forgave anyone or found some kind of peace. I didn't. I just ran out of gas. You can only chase someone who doesn't want to be caught for so long before you realize you're just embarrassing yourself. The divorce with Jessica went through pretty quick. No kids to fight over, obviously. We split everything 50-50. She got half the house. I bought her out, took on the full mortgage. Figured I'd stay there, make it work. That lasted about 6 months. I couldn't do it anymore. Every room had memories. Mia's first steps in the hallway. Teaching her to cook pancakes in the kitchen. Movie nights in the living room. I'd walk past her empty bedroom and feel this weight in my chest that wouldn't go away. So I sold it. Took a loss because the market was down and I needed out fast, but I didn't care. Used what was left after paying off the mortgage to put down on a 1-bedroom apartment across town. Smaller place, cheaper rent, no memories. The new place was fine. It was just a place to sleep. No pictures on the walls. Minimal furniture. I wasn't trying to build a home. I was trying to exist without constantly being reminded of what I lost. Work picked up, which helped. Got promoted to site supervisor. More responsibility. Better pay. Longer hours. Perfect distraction. I threw myself into it. Became the guy who was always there early. Always stayed late, always volunteered for the complicated jobs nobody else wanted. My boss loved it. My body hated it. I was running on maybe 4 hours of sleep a night, living off coffee and whatever food truck was parked near the site. But it worked. When you're exhausted enough, you don't think. You just move. The gym routine stuck too. 5 a.m. every morning, without fail. It became automatic. Alarm goes off. I'm up. I'm there. An hour of lifting, sometimes more. It stopped being about dealing with emotions and just became routine. Part of the schedule. Something to do. I stopped drinking as much. Not for any noble reason. I just got tired of waking up feeling like garbage. Cut it down to a beer or two on weekends. Switched to working on my truck instead when I needed something to do with my hands. Rebuilt the engine. Fixed the suspension. Painted over the rust spots. Gave me something to focus on. People at work thought I was doing better. I looked better, at least. Lost the weight I dropped. Put on some muscle from all the gym time. Wasn't walking around like a zombie anymore. So everyone assumed I was over it. Moving on. Getting back to normal. I wasn't over it. Not even close. But I got better at pretending. Better at functioning. You learn how to compartmentalize, you know? Put it in a box, shove it to the back of your mind, and keep moving. I didn't check Mia's social media anymore. Deleted Instagram off my phone completely. If I didn't see it, it couldn't hurt me. That was the logic, anyway. Jessica would still text occasionally. Usually about something practical paperwork to sign. A bill that came to the old house. She never mentioned Mia unless I asked, and I stopped asking. What was the point? Jessica would just tell me Mia was doing great. Thriving at her new school, happy with Derek. I didn't need to hear that. I dated a little. Nothing serious. Met a woman named Rachel at the hardware store. We went out a few times. She was nice. Funny. Made me laugh for the first time in a long time. But it didn't go anywhere. She asked about kids one night over dinner, and I gave her the short version, said I had a daughter, that we weren't in touch. She asked why. I said it was complicated. She didn't push, but I could tell it bothered her. We went out maybe 2 more times after that, and then it just fizzled out. I didn't have the energy to explain the whole situation. Didn't want to be the guy who dumped his baggage on a woman who was just looking for something normal. Time moved on whether I wanted it to or not. 1 year, then 2. Life kept happening. I turned 40. Got another promotion at work. Bought a newer truck. Started going to Marcus's house for barbecues on Sundays. Normal stuff. Regular life. And then, out of nowhere, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, figured it was spam. But something made me pick up. It was Mia. She just turned 18. Said she was calling because she wanted me to know she was okay. Her voice sounded older, more mature, but still hers. I asked how she was doing. She said good. Getting ready for college. Going to UCLA in the fall. Derek was paying for everything, of course. She mentioned that specifically, like I needed the reminder. I asked how school was, how volleyball was. She gave surface-level answers. Fine. Good. Busy. The same stuff she used to tell me when I'd text her. There was this awkward silence. Neither of us knew what to say. Finally, she mentioned something about wanting me to know she was doing well. That she was happy. Like that was supposed to make me feel better. I told her that was good. That I was glad she was happy. Meant it too, even though it hurt to say. She said she had to go. Class or practice or something. But she was glad we talked. Said maybe we could grab coffee sometime when she was back in town. Maybe. The universal word for probably not. I said sure. Told her to take care of herself. She said she would. And that was it. The call lasted maybe 3 minutes. She didn't apologize. Didn't acknowledge what she'd done. Didn't ask how I was or what I'd been up to for the last 2 years. Just called to let me know she was fine and then moved on with her life. I sat in my truck after that call. I'd been in the parking lot at work when she rang. Just sat there for a while. Didn't feel sad. Didn't feel angry. Didn't feel much of anything, really. Just tired. People say blood is thicker than water. Turns out money is thicker than both. Here's what I learned through all this: being a father isn't about biology. It's about showing up. It's about being there at 3 a.m. when your kid is sick. It's about teaching them how to throw a ball and helping with homework and sitting through terrible school plays because they're in them. I did all that. For 16 years, and it didn't matter. Not when someone with a bigger bank account showed up offering a better life. Did Mia make a mistake? Maybe. Maybe one day she realized what she gave up. Maybe she'll understand that the man who raised her was more of a father than the man who provided the DNA. Or maybe she won't. Maybe Derek will be everything she needs, and she'll never look back. Either way, I can't control it. Can't change it. Can't fix it. I was her dad. I raised her. I loved her. I gave her everything I had. And if that wasn't enough, if she needed more than that, then there's nothing I could have done differently. You can't compete with money when you don't have it. Simple as that. Do I still think about her? Every day. Do I still wonder if she ever thinks about me? Yeah. Does it still hurt? Like hell. But I don't cry about it anymore. Don't drive by her old school. Don't check up on her through Jessica. I just exist with it. It's there, like a scar. You don't forget it's there. But eventually, you stop touching it to see if it still hurts. I'm not healed. I'm not over it. I probably never will be. But I'm functional. I go work. I pay my bills. I see friends. I keep moving forward because that's what you do. Life doesn't stop because your heart's broken. Some guys at work know bits and pieces of the story. Not the whole thing, just that I had a daughter, that her biological father showed up, that she chose him. They don't ask for details. Just say something like, "Man, that's rough," and change the subject. That's enough. I don't need people to understand or sympathize. I just need to keep going. The apartment still doesn't have pictures on the walls. I'm okay with that. This place isn't about building a home. It's about having somewhere to be. Somewhere that doesn't remind me of what I lost. I thought about moving cities a few times. Starting completely over. But I didn't. My job is here. My friends are here. Running away wouldn't change anything. I'd still be the guy who lost his daughter to money. Geography doesn't fix that. So yeah, that's my story. The daughter I raised for 16 years chose her biological father because he was rich, and I wasn't. My ex-wife orchestrated the whole thing, and I had to watch it happen, powerless to stop it. There's no happy ending here. No reconciliation. No moment where Mia realizes what she lost and comes running back. Maybe that'll happen someday. Probably won't. And I've made peace with that, not the healthy kind of peace, where you've processed everything and moved on. The realistic kind, where you just accept that some things are broken and can't be fixed. I was Mia's dad. For 16 years, I taught her to ride a bike. I cheered at her games. I stayed up worried when she was out past curfew. I was there, every single day. Derek showed up with money and promises. And she picked him. That's the reality. No amount of love or dedication or sacrifice can compete with a bigger bank account when you're 16, and you don't understand what really matters yet. Maybe one day she will. Maybe not. But I did my part. I was her father when it counted. And nobody, not Derek, not biology, not money can take that away from me, even if she already has. So if you're going through something like this, I don't know what to tell you, man. There's no fix, no magic words. You just keep moving. Put one foot in front of the other. Work, gym, routine, whatever gets you through the day. It doesn't stop hurting. But eventually, you learn to function with the hurt. And that's the best you can hope for. That's it. That's my story.